So Barabbas was picked, right? Cyrus, Daniel prospered in the timeline of Cyrus and Darius. But King Nebuchadnezzar, I believe they're all different. They're not the same spirits, they're different people. Cyrus. So Trump was compared to Cyrus. Paul, Saul, Stephen James talks about Donald Trump being Saul, Paul being blind, which means Peter was there during the cross. He denied Christ 3 times. However, he obviously believed in him, because upon this rock here, this rock, it could be upon this rock, meaning Christ himself, I will build my church, as he's talking to Peter, or as Peter is a little rock, Petro, upon that rock. But Christ didn't say upon that rock. He said upon this rock I'll build my church. He said destroy this temple, pointing to himself, and he'll rebuild it in 3 days. And they said it took 46 years to build this temple. And so Daniel prospered in the reign of Cyrus and Darius, and Darius was the one that the 120, the 12 tribes, maybe Darius is considered with the male, female, everything is male and female. So the female version of Darius, maybe that was the woman with the 12, like in Petco too. The big blue-eyed woman. Maybe she was representing the Darius, the female version, because those highly trained reviewers of Darius's on the YouTube platform, his highest trained reviewers and presidences and the other people, the YouTube agents, they were trying to set a trap for Daniel right before Darius was taking over. But Darius knew. He knew. As soon as Daniel was going to be thrown at lions' den, they already fed the lions. So that way the next day when Daniel gets out of there, then Darius will throw all of his highest trained reviewers and throw them in the lion's den and have them devoured by the lion. 100% no lion. So who was Barabbas in this scenario? Because you really only have between Derek Bros, Jonathan Kleck, Stephen James DeShawn, Stephen Ben-Nun, Jacob Israel, really. But who's in charge right now? I know Steve acts like he's poor and suffering, and he doesn't run the underground casino world and the mafia and all. He's not that guy that has, if not the most authority on the planet, the second most, or third, or fourth. But Derek Bros doesn't. It's like he just kind of started to fade away for whatever reason that is, and changing things the way things are, the way things have been. So it doesn't look like he is in any power right now, and it's just the way it looks. Not that you don't have, not that you're not doing, not that you don't have a major part to do with controlling people and putting them where they need to be with events that need to be done worldwide. Millions of people you can actually get to go wherever you need them to go. And but here's just what it reminds me of. Whether I'm right or wrong, I'm throwing stuff. In a sense, you have a dual combination. Stephen James said that his son Jacob, his oldest son, nothing's gonna happen until he's like 33 or something, and I think, how old are you, Justin? Are you 31 too? I forget. You were definitely like 30. Maybe when I met up with you. Maybe you're 33 almost. I don't know. But Jacob Israel, you seem to have the same set of eyeballs that Justin has. But you have that channel right now that is, it's not like Steve Benoon's channel, where his is aimed towards the world new, the Washington, the politicians, the people. Everybody knows Steve Benoon, I'm pretty sure, that has a channel on YouTube that is from the inside. You all know him. So, you got like 400,000 subs. So you reach the political people. And then Stephen James doesn't really reach anybody with that channel, because that's by design. But Jacob Israel's channel seems to be that I don't know, just seems to be that the channel that has the ability for every type of person to listen to. Like, you can relate to almost anybody. Sort of like Paul. If he goes into this town, and he's a Gentile. If he goes over there, then he's a Jew. If he goes here, then it's like, just, in other words, just, you can relate to everybody. So that seems like the Darius type that is taking over at a time where maybe things were supposed to be different, but now that there's a different spirit instilled into you, people may not believe that, and they could be throwing stones at you. They could do that, but because they're gonna get you to sign that decree when this shit hits the fan. If it does, then in Philly, or maybe it doesn't, and it's more like the Jonah thing, where Jonathan Kleck, like I said in the beginning, I did a video telling him to go warn the people, not just the Kleckites. And because who is the one that was sitting outside of the city on the east side when it wasn't destroyed and was pissed off? Jonah. Who is the one that's showing you all the bombings on the U.S. currency, and it looks like Philadelphia is absolutely the target, and then it doesn't get hit? Well, that would be Jonathan Kleck. So wouldn't he be the one that would be angry if he was Jonah, and he was supposed to go to Nineveh and the king, and you got the king of Nineveh, and you got Jacob Israel there with that center point, the center focus type channel that can relate to everybody. 200,000 subscribers. I mean, you basically had 500 subs when I had 500 subs back in 2017. And then after everybody turned against me, it seemed like people's channels just kind of exploded. So maybe it's like the Darius and Cyrus, and maybe that is Saul and Jonathan. Because remember, Jonathan loved David like his own soul, and Saul loved David at times too, but wanted to kill him. And Jonathan didn't really believe it, but then he realized, oh wait, you better wake up, because being a frog in that boiling pot is not good if you don't wake up there, buddy. Wake up to what you're being shown. John the Baptist. Who is John the Baptist for real? Is it someone that is just saying, make the way straight, Christ is coming, or in a general sense, or is he telling you who the Christ is by name dropping? And does he have the ability to reach people throughout the platform instead of just, a few subscribers? Does he have a channel that is basically watched by the world? Very well known from the people from the inside. Name dropping. Is that the John the Baptist? Is that the legitimate John the Baptist that rises up here in the end and finally makes himself known? Or is it someone that'll never really name drop, but use it to benefit himself? So that's what I thought at times when I'm being used by this top tier platform people that run the whole show here. They run certain areas of things in the world that all they got to do is make a decision and the entire planet changes because of it. That's who they are. So Jonathan Kleck, with that 848, water staying still, and even if he was trying to use it for his own benefit, saying like, he's the Lord God and, and I'm down here and he's telling me to strike the rock like a Moses type, and he could be, he could be the person in charge, but trying to claim the Lord in heaven as in the spirit that I've always known, which is none of yous. So maybe that could be why he was so persistent. But then again, maybe there's three of them, or at least two, because George Bush definitely was the beginning of the first 9/11. His face is even imprinted in the smoke and mirrors when the first tower got hit. And then Petco 2, it shows him graduating to Barack Obama with his head twisting, maybe popping off or something, representing the 7th and of the 8th. Like that beast is the same. The one that was, is not, and is yet to come. Barack Obama, second coming, second term, win the war on Christmas. Jonah maybe wants the city destroyed. And then Darius, who takes over, says, nah. And Nineveh and the king from the king down, they all repented, and then it doesn't have to happen. The Philadelphia destruction was going to be exactly what it was, but since I predicted it, it won't happen. And then it's like, well, I won't get any recognition for that, will I? Well, of course I will, because I'm steering these top channels. So that's really what matters. Would it be disappointing? Well, if people really do die, then what's the point of doing it? I don't see any point in doing it. But if people don't die, well, yeah, it's a way to get a certain amount of attention, but what do you want the attention for? Christ, the first coming, was like George Bush, Jonathan Kleck. The first explosion was the return, what was Christ. That was the first coming. The second coming, because that was the first coming over in New York, which destroyed Jacob's city. And then the second coming is supposed to be over here in Philadelphia, which destroys Jonathan Kleck City. The way that it's set up. Sodom and Gomorrah. Those two great cities. And then when you go to the left side, she turns into a witch with that nose. So I wonder if we're at that time right now where Jonathan Kleck represents Jonah, and he was told basically from the beginning, don't just call me a nerd. Make it more clear that Nineveh needs to repent. And then he goes and tells them, but he's disappointed because Philadelphia isn't destroyed and the second coming doesn't work out, and Barack Obama doesn't win the war on Christ, but maybe destroys his house, burns it on fire or something. I don't know, like that vision of young Thomas there, and wins the war on him temporarily, because nobody's ever going to win the war on Christmas anyway, except for Christ. And so maybe there's the evil twin, and then there's a good one, and I could have been communicating with both of them at various times, and one of them I sickened to death because I'm ruining his second coming, putting a damper on it, and the other one is thrilled to death because I'm ruining his twin second coming, because it's not the truth. You're not actually the second coming of Jesus. Although in the system itself, I think that would be your name. Yeah, it's in gematria, ain't it? I mean, that's what the book is there for. But it's also there to decode people's plans and what they're really saying. All arrows are pointing to Liberty 1, Liberty 2. Jonathan Kleck tells you the pyramids are your enemy. He has a $5 bill and a $10 bill. 5 times 10 is 50. Liberty 2, which is where Christ came to proclaim liberty to the captives. 858 feet tall building. Barack Obama said, "Be still, know that I am God" at 8:48 a.m. Right around the corner at 17th JFK when I was standing there that day on Harold Camping's World. October 21st, 2020. The water stood still 8:48 a.m. right when Barack Obama read that on September 11, 2011. And that building's address is 50 South 16th Street, like the 16th Chapel, Liberty 2. The first 50, and then he'll show you two $50 bills. One of them with the address on the pyramid, and then the other one with 17th JFK, 8-story building. The story I've been telling you about is that building 8, Penn Center building 8, 17th JFK, Chase Bank. It's on the back of $50 bill. You fold it up. It shows you the time, 5:55 a.m. It shows you the reindeer, which represents Christmas. Barack Obama said, "I will win the war on Christmas." He said it in his second term. He's in his second term. That would be the second coming, as if he's the second coming of Christ. And he did thank me that day that I was there. But again, is that just using me to try to get me to say, like, well, there's the Lord God I've been talking to the entire time. It's Jonathan Kleck. In the system, I've been talking to him. He's been showing me these things. I wouldn't know the host body system without it. But is he trying to get me to say these things in order to benefit him still? Or do you just give up on all that? Because at some point, none of yous were really on the up and up. I had to persistently just keep doing what I'm doing, not even knowing what I'm doing, until I start to realize every time I push record, push play on when I sit in front of the computer, I learn as I'm doing it, and I'm teaching at the same time. And then things start clicking more and more. Like the woman that came to, she was in the, in the storyline when she came to Truman, but she was trying to warn him in a code talk with those big blue eyes. She was trying to warn him that everybody's acting. In other words, they're all acting, Robin. All of them. They're all acting. And they want me dead. Like the John the Baptist type. The female version of John the Baptist. Sylvania, I believe. In the Truman Show. And then just like that pet goat too. That the girl kneeling down with the big wide blue eyes. Blonde hair. Maybe Miss America or something. She has the 12 apostles around her. She's clothed with the sun, and there's always going to be one twin trying to act like the other. But New York and the Statue of Liberty, and over there in Long Island, New York, and with the 12. Well, Judas had 12 apostles, and it was really Judas's apostles, and they were just followers. They were followers of Jesus. What's it? A little mark there. They were followers of Jesus. I don't consider myself a Christian at all, not at all. So it's like that. It's like 12 of those apostles. And then they were going to stone Judas. But Judas and Jesus were like friends. They were buddies in a way. And he was just following his disciples, really. But anyway, there's 12 of them. That woman has it. And she obviously knows Barack Obama because she gave him the look when she gave the apple back. Because the two became one. And at that time, Barack Obama started sweating semen from his head in Pet Goat 2. And then if you look closer, you can see he's watching his iPad. It has he's watching my channel, my videos. And it looks like he's like, oh shit. The gig is up. Because everybody's acting. You guys are good. I mean, I give it to you. You're the best damn actors on the planet. But God is just way ahead of everybody. And he's always gonna give me the heads up before it's too late. He's always gonna give me the heads up before he's always gonna prepare me for the people that are trying to fulfill this role and use me just because I'm able to communicate with you and I understand some of the Bible. People are gonna try to play me. But there's going to be that one person, like that woman in the skies anyway, in the Truman Show, that's going to come to me and let me know how everybody's acting. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to accept anything. You can offer me the world and say, sign on a dotted line, you just have to do this, that, and the other thing. And I'm good because you know what? The world's already mine. I don't need to sign anything. I already know, if Philadelphia never gets destroyed, that's exactly what it's like. The days of Jonah, because I predicted it dead on. It can't be any other city besides Philadelphia and those two, Liberty 1, Liberty 2. Twin towers that are looking to go down 21 years, 3 months, and 16 days later, John 3:16. 17th JFK. It's just plastered throughout all of the 9/11 videos. They tell you exactly where the next event is. And if it doesn't happen, it's because prospering in the reign of Cyrus and Darius, it doesn't have to happen. Because ultimately, who was I trying to get the attention of? The people that run the planet. So the other people, like, yeah, I want to get my family and friends, people that watch my videos that think I'm just way off with whatever, even though they're, It's like I talk about the gang stalking, and it's like it doesn't exist in their mind. It did at one point heavily, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, it's not even real. Like, yeah, right. I would love to be able to get everybody's attention in that way, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it through destruction. I'm just going to have to do it through just watch and pay attention. You'll see where my life goes, how I got to that pinnacle is by doing this very thing right here, right now. I may never even meet anybody. At some point, my channel will just probably take off. And like Jacob Israel, it'll be a similar thing. But it would be nice if at least the people that ran this planet at some point, they made it public. We stopped the second 9/11 because of Rob and Henry Tees. He predicted it. We couldn't follow through with it. They're never going to say that. But yeah, of course, people want to be recognized, but I want to be recognized for the right thing, which is turning everybody to God. Having you understand, if you didn't clearly understand what God is, it was the result of years of searching and diligently looking for the truth on YouTube and finding it, and then influencing the people that run the whole show. But how do I prove that to the regular people? I may never be able to do it to my family, people that watch. But just know I've been doing it to try to change this shithole planet. And for all of you who are told what to do, where it's Lucifer that tells you what to do, and he's in your left ear, or he had you implant a neurochip or a earpiece or whatever it is, you're a gang stalker, right? You won't ever admit it, but you have to do a certain stupid tactic to get in someone's way. It's just the way it is. I don't know what happens if you don't do it. Maybe they put some kind of ringing in your ear really loud that gets you to go like a dog if you don't comply. I'm looking to free you from that. And just know that I know it's true. You don't have to admit it, but you don't have to lie to my face either. You can just, not lie. That's why I don't even ask people about, are you a gang stalker? I don't want you to lie to me. Is that building winking its eye at me? With the left one shut and the right one open? So am I close to that? Darius, Cyrus, King Nebuchadnezzar, Stephen Benoon, Jonathan Kleck, Stephen James over there, Jacob Israel, Derek Bros. Which one is Jezebel and Ahab? And is Jezebel alive and well? Because Jezebel is transformed from being dead and not well to alive and well. And Ahab, the love that he had, Ahab and Elijah and Saul and Jonathan. Because Saul would be somebody in my life that was persecuting me from the beginning, like Stephen James, right, Steve? And then who would your son Jonathan be? Because I know you're playing the David role, but you're supposed to play the David role. That's why you hated David so much, because he revealed your role.